Why, hello everybody, welcome, my name is Rubydung, welcome to today's episode. As you can see, I'm all the way back here at the main base again, as I typically am. That is because I have an idea of a project that I'm wanting to work on here, more of an expansion, really. So, for the last few episodes, I have been working on my horses. So, I have a whole bunch of them, kind of like, still a whole bunch of them. I get like 3 still. The other one might have grown up by now, so I kind of want to test them out while I'm on camera here, because I'm fairly sure he has grown up. Yes, they have grown up. Sweet. So, you're the one, so I need to tame you here. But I have an idea for a project I'm wanting to work on here today. So as you're maybe able to tell, these horses are almost exclusively have to be used in the lower portions of the base. So, by the way, I'm also going to rob your saddle here and put it on you. Ooh, you are definitely slower, I feel. Let's test that out. So, both your parents were 9s, I believe, so let's see how fast you are. An 8. So, you are worse. Oh boy, I believe you're worse. I'll test one of your parents again here real quick to make sure of that. So, yeah, I am fairly sure you are faster here. Yeah, 9. So they're 1 worse than their parents. So, they are going to have to meet a sad end, I'm sure. In which case, I need to make that, I am fairly sure. Let me also get rid of the saddle here. No real use having it on you. But what I am thinking about here is, there is the only way up into my higher levels of the base is through, I just passed it, is through these little water streams I have kind of occasionally dotted around the base here. There is about, if I remember correctly, 3, though there is a 4th one that exists that's just kind of temporary. But what I'm wanting to do here is, I am wanting an actual way to get up to the 2nd level of my base without the use of water streams, because it's exclusively water streams to get up there, and I don't want that to be the case. So, what I have in mind for today's project is I want to make a little kind of stairway-esque kind of thing that leads me all the way up to that area over there. I'm trying to get a better angle of it, but there is a little side of the base here that I can build a little loop around and connect it through there, or I can try connecting through the zombie pigman farm intersection up there, but that might be a bit difficult because I'm going to have to connect to an already existing intersection. So, I now have to try and plan out where I want the expansion to occur at. It's going to be interesting because my base is made almost completely on a 2D space here. At no point does it change levels except for these water streams. So it's completely flat ground, except in one spot. One very particular spot does it change the actual level of my base. Running all the way down here, you can see here is the only time it ever changes level in the base. There's this little stairway running up into my villager farm. So, also, I've weirdly enough gotten no villagers in here, so that means there's probably a problem with the villagers, because I was AFKing quite a lot, so I need to check that out, which is never good. Oh man, I don't like doing that. It's not a problem to check the villagers, but anytime I have to check them, it means something has definitely gone bad. But one place that I'm thinking of adding the extension is this tunnel right here. Simply because if I begin adding it here, I can twist it out and have it go around from this section. And I have nothing really built here, and I don't know what on earth I could build here. It's in such an odd location. But the thing is that's going to keep me from, like, not building here is I don't like building on this even plane. I've built multiple times in this base on this little even plane, and I'm wanting to correct that. So I'm kind of wanting to avoid building something there, just because of that simple fact. Because forever ago, when I made this passive mob farm, I built it on an even, like an odd, then even, and it's annoyed me ever since. So now I'm trying to correct that little error, and trying to rebuild everything on an odd level number. Just because that's how the original base is built on an odd number. So I don't want new sections built on an even one. So I'm trying to come up with a consistency. The second place I'm thinking of building is actually punching out this little room area here. Because this old sugarcane farm here is basically turned into an intersection that goes this way. Nothing that way, nothing that way. So I'm kind of thinking of turning the straight here into the end of an intersection. So you would go through here to get to a higher level. Also, this would be very close to where the main base is. And I think this is going to be my most likely candidate because of that. So I just want to punch out this little wall here and try to see how much I like that. Theoretically, I could turn both into higher level intersections because ultimately they're so close to one another that I could wind up trying it. Like, honestly, the only way for me to get over to that section of the base is running around, so I wouldn't mind having two here. So I'll build test things here and see how much I like the two of them. So I'm going to build the starting platform here and be back with you guys here in just a second. Alright, so I have done a little bit of building on the path here. As you can see, I have the nice little door frame up here, but when I walk through, I have a little opening out here for where I will be building all of the start pathing for this. So this is a bit of a bigger room. I was debating on a while how big I wanted it to be, and I wanted to push it all the way up to this railing here. Oh, I guess I'll give a perspective from down below here. But as we can see, I have these little railings here that I want to push it up to, so I wound up having it be a much bigger frame. But the beacon was in like the dead middle of it because obviously that beacon's up there, and I've spaced it nice and evenly out, so it wound up being in the exact way of this path. So I want this room to be centered around the beacon beam, because actually I don't believe there is anywhere in my base where I do build around a beacon. I put a beacon in the middle of something, and technically I guess in where I'm going to be putting my storage room 2.0 I have it, but like nowhere in the base do I have a beacon nice and centralized that's already been put down. So for that, I am just kind of putting the beacon in the middle there. Theoretically, I also can move the beacon up to fill out more space in the room by having it just be in the middle of this room, but I don't think that's really necessary. I could wind up doing it, but more importantly, I also put in another path going all the way down here, winding this way and going in here. So I am now capable of getting to this side of the base with going through this direction. It's not too much of a big deal, but now I can get to this side of the base without having to go all the way around here and through this direction. I can now, if I'm at the horse section, I can go through here, and go in and go to the villagers, opposed to having to go through here, go down, around, through, and wind up going through this long passage here. I can just immediately cut through this area. So this is kind of a bit of a shortcut I like to think of. But as well, now what I want to try doing is building a little extension area off here. By the way, apparently there's a villager all the way over there, as you can see. He's kind of chilling out in the water. Luckily, like, the island right next to him is nice and lit up, like I lit up from forever ago, so he's just kind of safely chilling there, but he's been there for a while, and I think he's been slowly on a little journey, because I think he's from either that area over there and has swam his way all the way over here, or he's from over there and swam out this direction. Either way, this man had to go on a journey, because there's that villager farm you would have to come from, or that one. So I have no clue which one he's from, but he's gone himself a little bit far from home. But either way, now I want to begin putting in the little bridge area there's going to be. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm trying to think in my head how I want this to be. And I'm either wanting this to be a long kind of So a straightforward thing going like this, and then it going that way, and then connecting up there. Or I can go like this, that, and then up there. So I'm trying to figure out in my head what I feel is the best way of doing that. Any way I'm going to do it, it's going to be a bit odd because it just doesn't line up with anything, like, at all. And on top of that, I'm probably going to have this be a very long tunnel based off of how I'm thinking I want it to be. So, like, let me lay out. Okay, I completely messed this up. Break that and put it in there. So what I am thinking of for this, I am wanting, so here will be the wood, and here will be the strut that places it to the ground. So we have that, in which case it should be, I believe, yeah, so it should be nice and lined up on this end. So what I'm thinking is, so, wood block here, then the strut here, then this is where the actual platform begins. Strut typically marks where the start of a window is. Then I'm going to want it to be 3 for the window. So nice and like that. Then mark it back out again. And then here is where I would put another strut. So then I would copy it again on this side, doing it here. But the difference here is after I put in this strut, so let me break out this, I am wanting it to be like this. So it raises up by 1/2 of a block and put in the section for where the strut should be. Oop, I apparently ran out of slabs, so let me make some more here. And like that, okay. Now, what I'm wanting is placing down another 3 here, branch up like this. I am now wanting it to raise up by 1/2 a block and do the strut again. So, this is what I have in mind. I don't want it to be like the... Oh, wait, no, that's perfectly fine. Because what I'm thinking is like this, and put in each of the little platforms here, and I'm wanting it to be like that. So it will be a little 1/2 a block rise, and let me put these here to make sure that everything is nice and in order for this little demonstration here. And in you go. Okay. So what I am thinking is, that you can now see, is, so we started the platform here, it goes up, and then once we hit a strut, it raises up by 1/2 a block, and we continue forward. Then when we hit another strut, it raises up by another 1/2 a block. This means that this like little platform here is going to be very long. It's going to wind up being insanely long in order to get onto the same level that the rest of the base is. But it will also probably be the easiest to build around, because I'm just having to consider 1/2 block differences. So that means I can do a little bit more consistent stuff with the walls and the roofing, because once again, all my tunnels have windows on them. No matter where it is in the base, they have a window on them if it's a tunnel. So I need to keep that consistent. So I need to find a way to build a rise with windows on it while it is sloping upwards. And I feel this is the best way for me to actually do that. So what I'm going to try doing now is build up a little bit of this tunnel. I'm thinking having it go here before hitting a turn. And then maybe do some sort of spiral, I'm guessing? A spiral might be the best of what I'm looking for. Or I could just try building into one direction and then turning it based off that. So I'm going to try going over there. That's going to be my hope, where I'm hoping for my connection points. So I'm going to try connecting over there and be back with you guys here in a second. So I went to go check what he was trading, and yeah, I think you can stay in the water here. Alright, after a little bit of building here, I've gotten myself a bridge. Nice and set up. My ring finger is killing me because I'm using that for shift. So, oh man, was my finger killing me after building this thing. So, what I have here going all the way around, I have it winding about in kind of a spiral fashion. It goes about halfway down before spiraling again. Then it goes a full length, so it's about a rectangular spiral, I guess is a more accurate description of it. So I'm just kind of going around and up here. Then, once I reach around this area, so it's going to be after this next turn, then we are going to reach a little bit of a weird choice I made here. I was extremely indecisive on where I actually wanted this bridge to go. I couldn't figure out whether I wanted to continue going that way or this way. Also, it was getting so close that I didn't know if I would have enough space if I turned back around that I'd be able to reach it again, or if I should go this way. So, what I decided to do was I decided to build two and just use both, because two bridges is just good. Like, I'm not going to wind up being hurt by having two bridges. So, heading this way, you can see that we go all the way into the iron farm. So this place can probably get decorated a little bit more, and also we have the water stream all the way up here, so it's a nice net neutral. So I can take the water stream up, or I can take this bridge up, or I can go all the way around this area and go this way, and then there will be the second portion, the T section on a staircase. It's a bit weird, but go this way instead. I will continue spiraling around and going up this way, in which case I connect all the way up into the bridge area I have up here. And it's just enough, like just enough to actually merge in perfectly. I was amazed by how well this actually wound up merging. Because I was like, there's no way this is going to merge correctly. I should connect this up to the iron farm. But then I was like, I think it will connect fine, and then I decided to do it, and wow, it worked out so well. I was amazed by how well it worked out. So, now what I need to begin doing is actually putting in the walls here, but what I want to do first is actually run a horse all the way up here, make sure it actually feels like nice and good. Because once again, now that I have horses, I kind of want to use them a little bit around the base, because, yeah, they're actually really quick, so it doesn't hurt to have a very fast form of transport in the base. And the base just so happens to be laid out just enough that a horse is actually, like, fairly convenient. The only thing that is not going to be convenient is that it walks up on little ledges I use for windows if I am not careful enough, and can wind up suffocating myself. But it's a very easy fix. I just hit S. So that's fairly how it can wind up working out fairly well. A lot more than I'm letting on. So all I have to do now is jump down here and go down this direction and grab a horse and see how well I like it. In which case, I think it'll be perfectly fine. As long as I don't walk off the edge with the horse, then I don't think we're going to have much of a problem here. But either way, guys, as I am grabbing this horse here, that is probably going to be doing it for today's episode. Focused a lot on the bridges here, but that's because I really wanted to get these bridges nice. Also, you can see what I mean when I say I can wind up accidentally suffocating myself on these windows if I'm not careful. But either way, guys, that's probably going to be doing it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. Oh, see, I can take a little bit of damage there if I'm not careful with how I maneuver here. And go around this direction. So, anyways, guys, that's going to be doing it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you have anything you want to see me work on here in the base or here in the future, that is something you probably should wind up telling me here in the comments, because I absolutely love reading comments, and I always want to hear ideas that you guys have for things you want to see me work on here at the base, because I have like a billion projects that I want to work on, and I always want to see what you guys have to pitch in, because once again, I always want to do what people actually like seeing, opposed to just what I want to do. So, either way, guys, that's probably going to wind up doing it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed, and it looks like this horse bridge is nice and great. So, with that nice and operational, I now have a horse all the way up here at the top of the base. So, woo! Just coasting around. And you can wind up taking him all the way over to my other storage system. Oh man, this is so nice. Look at that. But either way, guys, also with this, I can theoretically swap over if I wind up using a horse extremely common. I can wind up swapping over all my beacons from speed 2 over to a different effect. Like if I wanted it to be regeneration or something. I don't think regeneration is probably the correct call here, but like haste or whatever. I don't even think haste is the right call because I'm not breaking blocks too often in my base unless I'm building. In which case it's going to be beacons where that's completely useless. But either way, guys, I might as well take this way up as well. Either way, guys, that's probably going to be doing it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys here in the next one. And so, see ya. Bye!